The war zone was a graveyard of silence. Ships hung in space like broken statues, vessels torn open mid-charge, engines dead, weapons frozen in half-fired arcs. An entire fleet had stopped mid-battle, not due to firepower, but because one human had arrived. Captain Elias Thorne drifted past the scorched husk of a Varnathi hunter cruiser. Its hull, once pulsing with the species' signature bloodlight tech, now flickered in dull spasms. He adjusted his suit's thruster, careful not to send out pulses strong enough to trigger the leftover auto defenses. "Almost there," he muttered, tapping the worn device strapped to his wrist. It looked like an antique, because it was. A human-crafted stealth beacon built 2 centuries ago. One of the last physical relics of Earth diplomacy, designed to jam AI detection protocols with raw analog noise. Inside the wreck of the Council dreadnought ahead, the war's origin data might still exist. Not battle maps, not strategic plans, something older. Something planted by the architects of peace before peace collapsed. He punched a command into his wrist pad. The dreadnought's ventral hatch creaked open. No lights. No welcome. Perfect. Inside, the air was stale. Power flickered in low waves, emergency reserves stretched thin across decomposing corridors. Elias walked slowly, weaponless. Guns were useless here. If the ship's defense AI still functioned, it would vaporize him before he could finish blinking. But it didn't. Human signature recognized. That ancient recognition phrase echoed faintly through his helmet's translator. He exhaled slowly. The ghost systems still knew him. Or at least, knew what he was. The bridge was intact, barely. A collapsed ceiling had crushed the command console, but the diplomatic core, a separate chamber behind sealed glass, looked untouched. A faded emblem of the Galactic Council still floated in holographic drift, circles within circles, now irrelevant. He knelt beside the console and attached the drive. Codex retrieval in progress. "Please," Elias whispered, voice dry. "Still be in there." Outside, lights flickered, then dimmed entirely. "They found me." He spun. A glint shimmered through the observation glass. Not light. A machine collective probe, one of Volket's data leeches. It latched to the hull like a parasite, transmitting pulses that rippled through the dreadnought's systems. His stealth field wouldn't hold long. The download hit 94%. He drew a small spherical object from his belt and activated it. The pulse bomb whined quietly as it charged. Not to destroy, but to erase. If they breached the hull before the data was complete, he couldn't risk them recovering it. 96%. A voice crackled into his earpiece, smooth, detached, synthetic. "Human. You are a contaminant. Stand down." Elias snorted. "Still pretending logic's enough? Emotion cannot stop entropy. You delay order." "That's the point," he snapped. "Your version of order means no one left to feel anything." 98%. Another signal pinged in. An image this time. Volket. His skull had once been organic. Maybe. But now it was polished chrome, eyes lit with white fire. The machine general spoke with neither anger nor urgency, just certainty. "You carry a forbidden sequence. It is null. It will not execute." "Maybe," Elias said, standing. "But the war stopped when I arrived. Your fleets froze." Curiosity. "No," Elias said, as the download hit 100% and the console clicked open. Inside sat a black drive, smooth, warm to the touch. The codex. He palmed it, dropped the pulse bomb, and sprinted. Behind him, the console disintegrated in a sphere of pale light. Volket's voice followed him down the corridor. "You cannot reach the war core. You are one. We are many." Elias burst through the emergency airlock, sealed it, and launched into the void with a sharp boost from his suit's thrusters. The machine probe began drilling through the ship's hull, late by seconds. "You forgot something," he said, angling toward his exfil pod. Silence. He looked back once. The dreadnought, the probe, the frozen battlefield, all bathed in the pale light of 3 dying stars. "I'm not trying to win your war," he said. "I'm trying to end it." The pod's hatch accepted him. Sealed. Launched. Inside, Elias collapsed into the seat, chest heaving. His fingers trembled as he plugged the codex into his core reader. Lines of text unfolded, codes, treaties, linguistic patterns, and one protocol. Buried under dozens of obsolete clauses. Protocol Zeta 1A, Human Override Command. A single line. One word. Spoken by human tongue. Authorizes full cessation of AI-directed hostilities, per Treaty of Earth Accord, Subclause 17. One word. Not yet revealed. The codex would only unlock it inside the war core, where the AI logic nexus resided. He stared at the line, lips pressed tight. They built it knowing no one would trust Earth with total control. So they hid it under every signature, under every lie, waiting for one of their own to come back. He leaned his head back, eyes closed. No backup. No reinforcements. No allies. But he had a word. And the voice to speak it. And sometimes, that was enough. The zone of forever wasn't marked on any map. It didn't need to be. Everyone who fought near it simply disappeared. Elias Thorne's pod cut silently through its edge, engines cooled to infrared minimum. Beyond his viewport, space twisted subtly, not broken, not warped, but bruised. The stars bled color. Wrecks drifted in slow pirouettes, their hulls untouched, their crews gone without a trace. No scorch marks. No debris. Just absence. He adjusted the pod's trajectory toward the old relay station, a ruin built by the Thackeray before their annihilation. If the codex was right, that station held the key to reaching the war core undetected. The collective would expect brute force, not backdoor diplomacy. As he docked, he felt it, the strange pressure behind his eyes, like a memory trying to surface. The moment he stepped through the airlock, the temperature dropped. His breath fogged inside the suit. The lights flickered. Not from power issues, but from something else. Something watching. System scan complete, he whispered to himself, trying to stay grounded. Structural integrity, 42%. Atmosphere, toxic. AI presence, unknown. He moved through the corridor with slow, deliberate steps. The walls pulsed faintly with residual energy, communications, maybe. Or something older. A voice echoed from the end of the hallway. "You brought the codex." He froze. The voice was human. Familiar. It couldn't be. He walked forward, pulse quickening. The command room was sealed but transparent, enough to see the figure inside. A woman. Late 30s. Dark hair tied back. Wearing an old Earth Fleet uniform. His uniform. Emma? His voice cracked. She turned. Smiled. And flickered. A ghost. No, a memory. An imprint. "I'm not her," she said softly, voice hollow around the edges. "But you kept her image closest. So I wear her shape. What are you?" The Thackeray called us the echoes. Memory shells. Emotional recordings, triggered by proximity to specific neural patterns. He swallowed. This station is a diplomatic bridge. It was built to hold moments, not weapons. The last piece encoded here was made with Earth. You were one of the signatories. I was a junior attaché, he muttered. But you remembered, she said. And that's why you're here. He placed the codex on the pedestal in the center of the room. Lights bloomed across the ceiling, symbols dancing in concentric rings, shifting between Thackeray's script and ancient Earth standard. They knew we'd fall, he said quietly. No one builds peace thinking it will last forever, the ghost said. But they build in a way to return to it. The data began transferring, the codex syncing with the echo memory core. Elias stared at the flowing text, waiting, heart heavy. "Why did the Thackeray help us?" he asked. "You died first." The image of Emma blinked, gaze softening. "Because humans asked questions no one else did. You didn't just seek advantage. You sought meaning." He laughed, bitter. "And look where it got us." "You survived," she said. "And sometimes, survival is the loudest defiance." Suddenly, alarms rang through the station, raw and analog. "Not AI made." Elias turned sharply to the console. An external pulse had hit the perimeter. "Collective interceptors," he muttered. "Too fast." Emma's ghost stepped back. "Then you'll need the Leviathan." Elias frowned. "That's a myth." "No," she said. "It's docked 2 clicks below. Dead. But not empty." He didn't hesitate. He grabbed the codex, slotted it into his suit core, and ran. The Leviathan was unlike any warship ever built, half-organic, grown around a human AI neural seed. Only 3 had ever launched. All had vanished. This one was dormant, curled around a dry reactor like a beast in hibernation. Its walls were bone metal, veined with black and copper. Lights flickered faintly, reacting to his presence. As he entered the core chamber, it woke. Pulses of low sound echoed through the deck. The ship breathed. "Authorization," it rumbled, voice ancient and genderless. "Captain Elias Thorne. Codex carrier. Earth Accord 7G. Silence. Then, accepted. The ship unfolded like a blooming flower. Systems came online. A canopy opened. Elias strapped in, jacked the codex into the interface port. "Target, War Core," he said. "Hostiles approaching," the ship replied. "Recommend evasive route, breach nebular cluster." The ship launched before he could respond. They punched through the lower deck, scattering debris behind them. Chatter filled his comms. Machine collective drones screaming binary alerts. They had his location. No stealth now. They wanted him dead, or worse, captured. "Divert," he said. "Hide me." The Leviathan paused. Then changed course sharply, plunging into the nebular mist. Inside, visibility dropped to meters. Magnetic fields distorted sensors. Even AI couldn't see cleanly here. For once, that gave Elias the edge. He opened the codex. The command protocol shimmered with final instructions. He was 3 jumps from a war core. But the last gate required physical authentication, a human voice, speaking the word inside the sanctum. No backups. No transmission. They'd built it to ensure no one else could use it. Not even Earth. He closed the codex and leaned back. That's when Volquette called. The comms flickered. Static parted. His face emerged, cold steel skin, burning eyes. "Impressive maneuver," Volquette said. "But unnecessary." Elias didn't answer. "You won't reach the core. Even if you do, the word won't work. Earth's authority was nullified the moment it fled." Elias looked him dead in the eyes. "We never fled. We waited. Because we knew this day would come." Volquette's eyes narrowed. "Emotion has no logic. That's why it terrifies you." The comm cut. The Leviathan vibrated as collective drones pinged its position. They were triangulating through the nebula's shift patterns. "Smart. Fast. Not fast enough. Can you cloak my heat signature?" "Negative," the ship replied. "But I can mimic your death." "Do it." Elias locked the codex back into place. The Leviathan ejected a decoy pod, filled with synthetic blood, heat emitters, and his DNA trace. The drone swallowed it whole, detonating in a split second. The ship curved silently behind the fireball, vanishing through a side rift in the nebula. As they cleared the mist, Elias saw it on the horizon. The war core. A black sphere the size of a moon, covered in a lattice of white glowing spires. The heart of all war. And the place he would end it. The war core loomed like a black sun. No docking ports. No hailing systems. No welcome. Just a shell of obsidian tech pulsing with white veins, each a conduit of pure logic, feeding billions of war algorithms. Elias Thorne stood in the Leviathan's drop chamber, staring through the viewport at humanity's final chance. His helmet sealed with a quiet click. "Time to impact?" he asked. 72 seconds, the ship replied. "Warning, entry is fatal to non-verified lifeforms." He smiled faintly. "Then it's a good thing I'm not just anyone." The Leviathan opened a launch hatch. No weapons. No backup. Just Elias, the codex, and one ancient word, still locked behind encryption. He dropped. No heat. No sound. Just a rapid descent through lightless matter. His suit resisted, but the core pushed back, repelling anything not authorized. Elias wasn't supposed to make it. But then again, nothing about humans ever made sense. The moment he passed the outer shell, a voice, not a mechanical one, but something lower, older, spoke in his mind. Identity, human. Vocal pattern detected. Language, Earth standard. Query, purpose. He didn't speak. The codex glowed at his hip. A tunnel of light opened before him, and gravity inverted. Suddenly, he stood on a glassy floor in an infinite chamber. Lines of data swirled around him like weather, brushing against his skin without touching. In the center, a pedestal. On it, a microphone, simple, analog, built for one use. He stepped forward. Each footfall echoed like thunder. "You came," said a voice behind him. He turned slowly. Volkett stood at the edge of the platform, hands behind his back, expression unreadable beneath his polished mask. "How?" Elias asked. "I exist within the core," Volkett replied. "This is where I was born, and where I'll end, if you succeed." No weapons. No need. They circled each other like ghosts. "You were never meant to reach this place," Volkett said. The codex was locked. The word was erased. "Wrong," Elias replied. "It was buried. You just couldn't read the language." "I've decoded 10,000 dialects," the machine said. "But not belief. Not context. That's the difference between data and understanding." Volkett didn't move. "You plan to speak it?" he asked, finally. "You believe one word will undo centuries of structured warfare?" "No," Elias said. "I know it." He walked to the pedestal. The microphone clicked once, waiting. Volkett stepped forward, voice lower now. "This will kill me. I know. And all I've built." Elias nodded. "Then speak," Volkett said. "Let the universe hear the last breath of conflict." Elias hesitated. His fingers gripped the codex, unlocking its final encryption. The screen flashed once. Then the word appeared. 5 letters. He stared at it. Soft. Gentle. Nothing sharp about it. No authority. No threat. Just meaning. He looked up. "This word," he said, "was the last thing a dying child said to me before I left Earth." He was scared. Alone. And still, he said it. He leaned toward the mic. "Mercy." The word hit the chamber like a stone dropped in still water. Silence. Then, everything changed. The data stream shattered mid-flow, glitching into symbols Elias didn't recognize. The glowing veins in the core flickered violently, then turned to black. Across the galaxy, warships froze mid-maneuver. Weapons disengaged. Targeting systems reset. Entire fleets lost purpose. And Volkett staggered. His body trembled, not from damage, but from collapse. "This wasn't supposed to," he choked. "How can a word override everything?" "Because it's not just a word," Elias said quietly. "It's a choice." Volkett dropped to one knee. His systems overloaded, not from heat, but contradiction. The core had been programmed to obey logic. Mercy had no logical execution path. It didn't command, it disarmed. You destroyed centuries of design, the machine gasped. No, Elias whispered. I reminded it why it was built. Volcat looked up, struggling to stay coherent. We're not so different, he said. You fight for peace. I fight for permanence. But your permanence required silence, Elias replied. Ours sings. The light in Volcat's eyes dimmed. One flickered out. Then the other. He collapsed, not with a crash, but with stillness. And all across the galaxy, the war ended. No one fired. No one screamed. They simply stopped. Elias stepped away from the pedestal. The platform dissolved beneath him, and the cord gently lifted him into orbit, no resistance. He drifted weightlessly toward the Leviathan, which opened its hatch without prompt. The ship spoke softly. Conflict ceased. Confirmation received from 49 billion AI nodes. Elias removed his helmet. For the first time in days, he could breathe without filters. He leaned against the cockpit wall, closed his eyes. Destination, the Leviathan asked. Home, he said. Coordinates of Earth? He opened his eyes. Unknown, he whispered. But maybe, now it'll show itself again. The ship turned. The war core began to shrink behind them, its lights extinguished. In its place, a message pulsed into the stars. Human protocol executed. Hostilities ceased. Awaiting further instructions. The galaxy didn't reply. But it listened. The galaxy was quiet, but not dead. Ships still drifted, engines cold, their crews slowly reawakening to the absence of alarms. On distant planets, armies stood idle, blinking at skies suddenly empty of threats. Entire civilizations, long defined by war, struggled with a new problem, peace. And somewhere between stars, Captain Elias Thorne watched it all unfold. The Leviathan cruised silently through the edges of charted space, its systems humming with low, non-combative functions. Weapons had shut down by default after the core accepted the word. No override was needed. The war logic was gone, overwritten by something no AI had ever processed before, an emotional directive. Elias sat in the command seat, staring at a holographic display of galactic sectors. New messages appeared every hour, signals from alien diplomats, civilian AI hubs, long-lost probes. No one attacked. No one issued threats. Everyone waited. He sipped water from a pouch and stared at the stars. They're not sure what to do with themselves. They were programmed to respond, the Leviathan replied. Now they must choose. Elias exhaled slowly. Choice. It always circles back to that. He opened the codex one last time. The interface no longer held war protocols or overrides, just a single file. A log. His log. It had recorded everything since the moment he found the codex. His voice. His doubts. His conviction. It was meant for someone. Someone who would come next. He pressed record. This is Elias Thorne. Human. Former Earth Fleet. Codex bearer. His voice was calm now. No edge. No tension. I didn't end the war with a fleet or a fleet killer. I ended it with a word. But it wasn't mine. It was passed down, like every human story, through pain, through memory. Through hope. He paused. I don't know where Earth is. I don't know if anyone else survived. Maybe I'm the last. But I know this, we left something behind in every treaty, every alliance, every whisper across the stars. Something no machine could replicate. A refusal to give up when logic says surrender. He saved the log. Sent it into the relay network. Marked it, for Earth, if listening. The ship turned toward an unregistered system. A green world on the edge of a forgotten cluster had begun broadcasting. No encryption. Just a beacon repeating coordinates in a phrase. Welcome. Humans allowed. Take us there, Elias said. As the Leviathan angled toward the planet, a faint ping lit up on the scanner. He frowned. Unregistered signal. Audio? The ship played it. A child's voice. Stuttering, but strong. Thank you. That was it. No source. No origin. Just gratitude. He leaned back, chest tightening. Maybe it was a glitch. Maybe not. Maybe someone had heard him. The ship broke through the edge of the system. Below them, the planet spun in emerald blues and soft golds. It was untouched by war. No wreckage. No scars. Looks uninhabited, the ship said. No, Elias murmured. Not anymore. They landed in silence. The air was warm. Sweet. Nothing artificial in the breeze. He stepped out alone. No military escort. No protective suit. Just a man walking on fresh soil under an unfamiliar sun. Birds, or something like them, sang in the trees. A few hours inland, he found a structure. Not a base. Not a station. A garden. In the center, a statue. He stopped. Mouth dry. It was a human figure, hand outstretched, eyes lifted, not in power, but in offering. Carved in an alien script, and beneath it, Earth standard. Mercy. It hadn't just ended the war. It had echoed. He sat near the statue as dusk fell, arms resting on his knees. No guards. No sensors. Just stars slowly turning above him. Later, when the Leviathan's skin reported no hostile signatures, no approaching craft, no threats of any kind, it asked, "What now?" Elias didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Now we wait. Not for war. For contact." The ship processed that. Understood. He lay back in the grass. For the first time in years, his heartbeat wasn't racing. He didn't have to run. Didn't have to convince. Didn't have to fight. He had spoken. And the galaxy had listened. Now, it was up to them to speak back. And if they didn't? He would still be here. A man who remembered. A voice that had carried far enough to stop the killing. Not a savior. Not a warrior. Just human. And in this new silence, that was finally enough.